Welcome to the AOS Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Does this work? Yeah, it works. Okay, hello. Welcome to the AOS Wargamer. Your host, Rob. Welcome to Stream Street Day 159. Wow, I can really feel it's a Monday. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Big shout out to Draconda, Stufflin, MJ Pegasus, Gitly. It is Monday already. Diadrin 159. Yeah, 159, not 169. 10 days. The 10-day countdown. Hey, Pragmatic, T-Man Cash, Sir Callum, Battlechode, welcome to the show. On the plus side, we are hopefully less than 2 weeks away from the long-awaited Lumineth pre-order. We are. And not far away from the start of Super Series Genesis, about 3 weeks until we start to get that. You guys should start seeing some team videos this week, which is very exciting as well. Hello, everyone. As always, welcome to everyone to the show, and thank you to everyone that was watching Patreon. Could not do it without you, and thank you to everyone listening to the podcast. Please do stay hydrated. So, hey Moobs, hope you're well. How are we on the fundraiser for the sound? So I've turned it off because we've hit the fundraiser for the sound. We are done. We smashed it. Big shout out to the people who helped contribute to the fundraiser for the sound. So all 8, that's right. Gitly, you definitely could. Who all 8 headsets as well as some sound cards are on the way to the T Sports Arena. So you guys should get some great audio from the players pre-recorded. We've been having some great conversations behind the scenes about like cutting the videos up, doing supercuts. I was talking to Ziggy yesterday and the Stats Squad about how we're going to integrate that and put that together. Lots of things to go on there. Still got to build some walls though first. So very excited about that. Hello, Gurzy. Hope you're well. From the train between Stockholm and Uppsala. Nice. Being here live for the 69.69% was the funniest thing all week. That was a good point. 69% was great. I hope we're having... hey, W. Soren. Hello from Texas. So today I was going to talk about... I said that Mondays I was going to start doing like tournament wrap-ups. I was going to look at tournaments, look at the list, and kind of break them down. A bit of an issue there that I went on to Tabletop TO this morning, and it was just not working. I couldn't load up any of the lists. So I got sent some details last night. So there are 2 tournaments that happened this weekend, and I'm going to talk about those, like, structurally at least, right now, if that's okay with you guys. But the show might not be as long as I planned, because I don't want to waffle on. Last time I kind of broke the list down and I thought that was really good, and I want to do that again. So probably expect me to do this show again on Wednesday. It's just I can't get Tabletop TO to load, which is a nightmare. So I can't see the lists to break them down. Thanks, Team and Cash. Thank you to everyone who helped me reach the sound goal. Again, I can send you a link with Army List for a tournament starting next Saturday to analyze. Tom Gens? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Probably best to Discord me or Twitter me, as opposed to right now once the Twitch chat's gone. That's the best way. Did AOS Wargamer break the sound barrier? Nice. We did. We quantum leaped, is what we did. So there were 2 events that I know of this weekend. And I'd like to start off. So we had one over in Czechoslovakia, which is super sweet. It was called Král... Král Vysonk. Anyway, the Král event in Czechoslovakia, which was won by Ivo with his Cities of Sigmar Tempest Eye, and then Pezjub with his Gloomspike Gits, the Jaws of Mork. So the new White Dwarf supplement has been used, and it's taken a 2nd place at an event, and then Big War from Jacob. But I wanted to kind of look at like who they played against and the process there, which you're able to do on Tabletop TO, but I haven't been able to do today because, of course, it's broken as described. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So Destruction 2nd and 3rd place, Jakob with his Big War Ardfist. So I do have the lists, and there was also an event in Northern Ireland with the Exploding Dice guys. They had their event over there, which was super cool. And I'm going to talk about. So I'll talk about those lists in a minute. I'm just going to talk about how the event, so it's called New Dawn, how it ended up working, which is quite interesting. So what happened is they had 14 players in Heat 1, and then they had 14 players in Heat 2. and they played 3 games. So both players in Heat 1 and Heat 2 played the same battle plans. So same battle plans Heat 1, same battle plans Heat 2. You ended up with a top 7 from both. They ended up going into like a second day where the strength of schedule and their kind of like tournament points was the Swiss pairing for the start of day 2. And then you ended up with, they played another 3 games. So it was a way of doing like a 6 game event. But it was over the course of 3 days really. But effectively they isolated 14 people. Then they isolated 14 people. And then they ended up with the 2 top 7s going into a further 14 people. So they were able to like do socially distanced Warhammer much better, which I think is excellent, and really just go to show you that those guys over in Northern Ireland do really great. The guys in the Republic of Ireland at the hero phase are doing exactly the same thing, which is sweet, but they've had some additional lockdown enforcements in the Republic of Ireland, and so they've extended for when the final is going to be sometime soon. So it seems to be a growing trend of TOs and people around the world doing a really smart thing where they're just making smaller events, and then they're kind of like, they're either doing them as heats for qualifiers in the future, or they're just doing smaller events. They're just like, cool, we can't do 100-man events, we're just going to do smaller ones. Which brings me on to some sad news that CanCon 2021 has been cancelled, which is like just heartbreaking, realistically. It's really upsetting because effectively we don't have the world's largest Age of Sigmar event coming up. It's a bit heartbreaking, if I'm honest. I've been at CanCon for the past 2 years at the Age of Sigmar event. I managed to meet the wonderful guys from the Down Under Parents Network. I've met so many awesome Australians and New Zealanders and people from all over the world, actually. Big shout out to Randy from Tassie, the Failed Charge guys, Mortally Wounded guys. Like, just pick a group. They're all brilliant. And it's, hey Reflex, what up? Hey K-Dread, Pete Pratt, hello. At least they made the call early. Born Again Manchild, they did make the call early. It's very interesting also because you've still got tickets on sale for LVO. And again, during these hard times, I'm not going to make any criticisms anywhere across the board. But my voice is rough after the weekend. Anyway, I really can see, no ums, less ums. I really can see events having to switch up the paradigm of how they do it. And it's really fun seeing what the guys in Northern Ireland are doing. Now, obviously, some places like Denmark, I think they've got a 100-man event coming up. There's a bunch of tournaments where they are doing it on a larger scale. But I think these little events are quite fun. And I'd like to say right now publicly that if you're planning on running little one-man, one-day events, I'm going to do them on these kind of like Monday review shows. I'd like to actively encourage small, well-meaning events that make sure that they do all the COVID enforcements that they can. So like masks, hand washing. So I probably will do maybe a big tweet or a Facebook with all the information of where those details I'd like to be sent. So little one-dayers, just to try and make sure that the tournament scene stays alive. And I'll talk about it. So I'll give those tournaments a platform. I'll shout out the winners. I'll talk about how they're doing it. But I also would like to. I'd like to keep the tournament scene alive, but also not maybe actively encourage some negative ways of doing it. Does that make sense? We have a 3-game tournament for our local club this coming Saturday. All right, let's go. I want to hear about it. Now, normally stats people, which obviously I'm a big fan of the stats. So me and LLV would never look at one-day tournaments. Didn't really count. We didn't really look at one-day tournaments because you could just have a bunny run for a while. But you could also have one-day tournaments that are really, really got a really strong field. So there's no real way. I don't think we could do global stats based off it, but we can do fun shout-outs, keep the community going, keep the hobby alive. I'd like to see that. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in bumfuck nowhere, Nova Scotia, send me your TO results for your one-day little tournament, and I'm going to start talking about it because I think it's fun. I think it'll be a fun community engagement thing. I think we'll all get to hear about stuff, and it'll be sweet. including the Gitley's Gaff Invitational. It's just me and the cats. I think the ginger one is working on secret filth list. I reckon he's going Croak and Sally spam. You got to watch out for those cats. You really do. Hey, sorry again. Does that sound like a good idea, Twitch chat? I guess. Do you think that's something that people would like to hear about? I think that would be really fun. I really think it would be a fun thing. Anyway, let's talk about, again, because Tabletop TO's gone down, I'm not going to be able to do, I wasn't able to do like the deep dive that I was prepping to do this morning, so I haven't done that. So I'm going to come back to this on Wednesday, if you guys are comfy with that. Right, so let's have a look at the event that was held in Czechoslovakia. I will approve of shouting out to smaller, safe events, Draconda. Good. All right. This has probably been said, but I feel like Games Workshop have lost a good bloke in Rob leaving. Thanks, Unleash. Sit a fart for. Don't worry about it. I'm also an arsehole a bunch of times, so, like, but I'm your arsehole. That's the important part. Like, Right, all right. Okay, here we go. So let's look at Ivo. Nora Bendna. I can't speak any Czech, so if this is wrong, I'm sorry. Checkmates. Oh my God, Gitley, I fucking love you. So he won the event. Let me just double check. He did, and he won the event going 5-0. 5-0. So the only person to go 5-0 with the Cities of Sigmar list. Now again, I don't know what the Czech meta is like, but it's quite interesting. And again, what you're going to see is there's a lot going on in this list. So he's got a Tempest Eye list. So again, Tempest Eye, if you don't forget, you add plus. You get plus to your movement on the first turn and plus to your save. So +1 to your save. And so you go a little bit faster on the first turn and you're a little bit tougher on the first turn. So shooting armies love it. This is their secret trick. Can I share the screen, Rob? No, I can't. Because again, because if Tabletop TO was working, I was planning on sharing it, but it doesn't work. It's not loading. So my partner you donated to a wargaming show isn't that for giggling man children? Me, no, it's more than that. It's love and support for a great community. Partner, how much did you donate? £69.69p. Yeah, we got a bit childish on that one, but I don't mind. I think that was the right call. Anyway, so again, I'm going to come back to these in more detail Wednesday. So, but for next Monday, any one-dayers, I want to hear about them. Okay? This is us. Team up. So, leaders, Free Guild General and Griffin, and he had the artifact, which was the Zephyrite Banner, and he's swift as the wind. Celestial Hurricane with Battle Mage, and a Knight Incanter, with, doesn't matter what he's got. So 6 Demigrief Knights. This is a weird as fuck list. 2 lots of 10 Free Guild Pistoliers, 2 lots of 5 Free Guild Outriders, Aether Guard Windrunners Battalion, and the Chronomantic Cogs in the Everblaze Comet. What the shit? What is this? What is this? I love looking at lists from other countries. You're like, what even? Right, anyway, okay. Again, I'm going to come back to that. And if anyone knows Ivo Norrell Benar, I'd love to know how his games went. In second place, Adam Pezjub Slovak. So he had, so this was the new Jaws of Mork, but the new Jaws of Mork sub-faction that you get if you play Gloomspite Gits that came second at this event. It went 4-1. So he's got a Loon Boss on Mangler Squigs with a Clammy Cow, Loon Boss on Cave Squig, and then he's got, is that right? Can you do that? Loon Boss on Giant Cave Squig, who's the general, and then he's got 2 artifacts on his Loon Boss on Cave Squig. Okay, right, this is wrong. So check that shit out. Yeah, that's so 2 artifacts on his list. So that's weird. Anyway, 3 lots of 10 Squig Hoppers, 10 Boingrot Bounders, 6 Seeky Stufflers, 2 lots of Mangler Squigs, and then he's got the Moon Jumper Stampede and the Moonbiter Squigalanche, which we covered last week when we talked about Gits on the show. So he starts off with 2 command points, but somehow ended up with 2 artifacts on a character. Not sure what happened there. So anyway, That's nice to see. 10 Boingrots, 6 Inky Snufflers, 2 lots of Mangler Squigs. So he's got 3 monsters there. And then he's got that 60 wounds in those Squig Hopper. No, not 60 wounds. Anyway, and then the final one is Jakub. And he's got the Big War. So he has got a Mega Boss on Maw Crusher, who was the general. He had an Uruk War Chanter. He had another Uruk War Chanter. He had an Uruk Weird Knob Shaman, a Fungoid Cave Shaman. And then he had 6 Gore Grunters, 10 Uruk Ard Boys, 10 Ard Boys, another 10 Ard Boys in the Ard Fist with the Bellwind Vortex and the Burning Head. So just using that Big War ability to hit on twos, wound on twos. So +1/+1 and kicking ass. And he also went 4-on-1, I think, which is nice. So well done there. So that's that event. Over to Northern Ireland. A big shout out to Pete for sending me this information, as always. Yeah, I'm not... It does seem like that list isn't legit, but maybe it does check out. Thank you, everyone, for making check jokes. That works really well, and I like it. So again, over in Northern Ireland, so you ended up with a 6-game event. None of the players went 6-0. Top place, which went to Dave Kane, Terror of Northern Ireland. I'm pretty certain that's right. Came first again with Caradron Overlords. Now, I'm not saying that the Czech meta isn't on point, but I know that the Northern Irish meta is. So Caradron Overlords coming in first place. And again, I talked 2 weeks ago, a lot about Barak Ziflin. And I talked about, we got a show on Saturday where you can listen to Tubbsy talk about Barak Mornar, which he won with. So I think I managed to see a picture of Dave's list just before TTO crashed. And it was, again, a different list to the Ziflin list that we saw and also the Mornar list that we saw, because it was an Urbaz list. So another Caradron Overlord list, doing well, taking out a tournament. Another really awesome bit was that I was able to see, like, because I've got a picture of it on my phone, not because TTO's working. So Tabletop TO is kind of the tournament software. You can go and find all the information out. It's not working, so I can't grab the info. But in 5th and 7th place was Chris Caves Jr., big shout out to him, and also Ben Cochran, Colin's son, who was running Seraphon, and Chris Caves Jr. was running KO. But they're both really young chaps in Northern Ireland, doing really well, like taking like 5th and 7th, which is awesome. Like, super cool that they've got these young lads working super hard at events, taking out tournaments, winning them. It's just really good. See you later, Unleashed. Have a great day. Oh, Pete, you sent me the lists. Are they working now? Is it working now? So I'm going to talk quickly about what was at least in Dave Kane's list, and I'll talk more about how it works on Wednesday. So he had an Urbaz list, and it had an Entry Master with Dirigible Suit, who was the general. He had the Admiral and an Aether Chemist, and then he had a Gunstruck Gun Hauler, another Gunstruck Gun Hauler, 2 lots of 3 Sky Wardens, 2 lots of Grunstruck Thunderers, and an Ironclad. And then he had the Grunstock Escort Wing. Again, a different list. Very different list. The list that we saw Tubbsy run in New Zealand. The different lists, the Ziflin list that we saw. So Caradron Overlords are a thing now. They're a thing. At least at these kind of like... I mean, they played 6 games. He won 5 out of the 6 and came first. So that's pretty brilliant. So I don't know how everyone else feels about Caradron Overlords, like, zip into the skies, but it was really good. Hey, Ziggy, hope you're well. Ty Winning, thanks for subscribing. Big love to you. That KO list is very similar to my partner's list. I'll have to tell him. Yeah, man, you absolutely should, Draconda. Like, super cool. So that is 2 lots of 3 Sky Wardens, a Gun Hauler, 2 lots of Thunderers, an Ironclad, Aether Chemist, General, and the Dirigible Suit Entry Master, who's a baller. Who is a baller? Dude Day, when did Gun Haulers become a thing? I remember everyone laughed at them. The whole KO book's a thing now, Dude Day. Also, big love seeing you here. Have we talked about this nifty shirt yet? I'm late today. Which nifty shirt? Which nifty shirt are we talking about? Is there a nifty shirt? Oh, okay. Anyway, So big shout out to Dave Kane. He's a lovely fella, great beard. Thanks. I oftentimes only understand every third word he says, but still a big fan of him. And I'd love to know how that list worked. But he did really well, beating Colin Cochran, who came in second place. Thanks, Pete, for sending me these. Colin, big fan of him. Unless I have to play him at a tournament, then not a fan. But he was running Fire Slayers or the Fun Slayers. But again, a really cool list. He went 5-1 as well. Did really well with it. And it had 3 Magmadroths. So Auric Runefire on Magmadroth, a Rune Smiter on Magmadroth, and a Rune Smiter on Magmadroth. Then he had a Battlesmith as well. He had 20 Hearthguard Berserkers, 2 lots of 10 Hearthguard Berserkers. And then he had the Lords of the Lodge and the Runic Firewall. Again, because TTO wasn't working and I didn't get these lists till right now, I'll deep dive that stuff on Wednesday. But 3 Magmadroths is, I mean, they're 250 points. That's pretty wild. That he used 3 Magmadroths and went 5-1. And Colin's a great player. Everyone in Northern Ireland, like, it's a tough meta. Like, there's some really good players there. So I'm not surprised. Well, I am surprised that the Magmadroths did so well. So that's something of note to talk about. Neil, I don't have a link to the list because Tabletop TO is not working at the minute, but I will include on Wednesday when I come back to this again. So sorry about that. And I should be able to present them on the screen as well. And then finally, in third place, AOS, love this guy, Stephen. He's run a Seraphon list, Fangs of Sotek, so Skink Priest, Skink Star Priest, another Skink Star Priest, Asaurus, Astalos, Bannerbearer, and Croak, and then the Prime. That's a horrible combination. Then he's got 5 Saurus Guard. Their job is to protect Croak, obviously. 40 Skinks, 3 lots of 10 Skinks, and then 2 lots of 5 Chameleon Skinks. Those Chameleon Skinks, I think, like going to become very, very, what's the late game tech. As that Seraphon book kind of gets like deep dived and people play with it more and they experiment with units, I think those Chameleon Skink units are going to become very much like we saw Kinrian Heart Renders. For Daughters of Cain, they kind of became auto-include. It's those 2 units of 5. It's 180 points for the ability to deep strike somewhere, pick off a character, mess about with a war machine in the backfield. Very key. They don't have that 180 points of raw output that you might think, but I think you're going to see them start to go into lists quite consistently. I know Stephen is an excellent player and is like very conscientious in making sure he like breaks his book open. And again, it's a Fangs of Sotek list, you know, so very different to the list we've seen. Well, yes, it's got Croak in it, but it's got no Salamanders. It's got the Prime, which is a cool addition, definitely a cool addition as well. And again, gives some more threat to the backfield. And then he's got that big block of 40 Skinks that are just going to do well. I mean, if you actually look at it, like what's in there? It's so... Scrutiny Hugh says MSU Camo Skinks seem to have absolutely baller utility. They do. That's what I'm trying to say. They're like a key utility piece, which you're going to see taken more and more, I think, in Seraphon lists. So big thing. But that list is light. You know, that big block of 40 Skinks, 3 lots of 10 Skinks, and then it's just got nothing there. I mean, yeah, it's got Croak. Yeah, it's got the Prime. And obviously he's got the Balewind Vortex. And Geminids and Bound Quicksilver Swords, which is horrible if you're playing against Chaos. Just awful. And he comes in at 1970 points. But it's those 40 Skinks that are going to be doing the work, and a terrifying volume of work, which is just really fun. Yeah, fuck that Croak guy. Anyway, so again, we'll deep dive those stats. Let me just double check this, sorry. We'll deep dive that information when we get there. Oh, and in 4th place, yeah, let's just quickly read out 4th place as well. Tzeentch came in 4th with the Change Coven Court of 1,000 Eyes. And then he had Archeon. It's a good choice inside Tzeentch at the minute, I think. I think Archeon's a good choice in all of the armies. He really has stepped up in his utility. I think you've got some really good Slaanesh builds with Tzeentch. With Archeon. I think you've got some really potent Nurgle builds. I think you've got some good Tzeentch builds. I personally like Tzeentch in Hos Arcanum. I like Archeon in Hos Arcanum for his ability to move forward. I think that's really clutch. And he's really, really good. So he's also got a Lord of Change. So that's a lot of points if you think about it. Not Lord of Change, sorry. He's got a Change Caster, Magister on a Disc of Tzeentch, and then he's got a Chaos Lord, and he's got 4x10 Karakakalites. He's got the Chaos War Shrine, which is a big shout as well. So, again, a very different Tzeentchian style list. And I'll crack those open. I wanted to go through the list and kind of pop out the ones that really struck to me, but Stephen's list, Colin's list, both of those two lists, all the Northern Irish lists in the top 3, really interesting, very different from what we've seen at other events, their own unique take on those lists and doing really well, which I think is awesome. And then the ones, again, from Czechoslovakia that we've seen, also really different. Not 100% certain one of them's legal, but that's fine. I mean, the Big War list isn't that different. The Big War list is fairly standard fare, but the Cities of Sigmar list and the Gloomspite list with the Jaws of Mork, different list to what we've seen before, which is exciting. It's an exciting new place for the meta to be in. Now, I know it's a bit difficult for anyone to be excited because all the big events are being cancelled. It's hard to get down to your local store and game. It just doesn't feel like what it once was, where it was this kind of like big international like tournament going. I really felt like we were building up. You had guys from Scotland traveling to Australia, guys from America traveling there. You had people from Europe traveling here, people from here traveling to Europe. You had people going to Canada and America, them guys coming over here. And I know that's not going to happen for a while, maybe years. So I really do think as a community, we should really start to like break that open and like readjust that. I really like what they've done in Northern Ireland. I think it's a really excellent little process where they have a couple of heats and then they end up with a final day. Really think that that's an excellent way to go forward. And illegal is different. That's true. That's true. To be fair, though, like I'm not 100% certain English would be their first language for those players over in Czech Republic. So I'm more than willing to cut them some slack and understanding that maybe the formatting wasn't something that they were nailing, which is fine. Hey, Verbeek, thanks for being here. So, Scrutiny Hugh says, MSU Camo Skinks seem to have absolutely baller utility. They do. I really think there's a potential for crazy mixed MSU Seraphon list. Camo Skinks, Skinks, Pterodons, Rippers, and Croxigores. And Croxigores? Okay. Okay, you should speak to Eric Hoger about that. I hate Chameleon. I've lost 2 games, so they're sneaky shit, says K-Dread. There we go. We've already said this somewhere, but what's your opinion on Warhammer Underworlds, Creator Gator? Not too stressed about Warhammer Underworlds at all. I never really liked it. It's a board game, which is cool, but I like war games, which are different. I'd be far more interested in playing Marvel Crisis Protocol or A Song of Ice and Fire than I would be playing Underworlds. Or I'd be tempted to play Necromunda again. I got really deep into Necromunda last night. Like I was up to like 2 a.m. reading Necromunda books, so I got a bit dark. Verbeek, anyone here knowledgeable about tabletop Space Marines? Yes, bruv. What do you want to know, Verbeek? It's not very complicated. Just take whatever you want. My Czech is not so hot and I can't call them out. Yeah, so I'm not going to like labor the point today because like I said, I'm a little bit not shocked, lost because I wasn't able to actually break down those lists, which is a bit of a shame. Damn you, Tabletop TO. So I'll do that more on Wednesday, which will be really fun. And we'll kind of deep dive those things. So not because I don't really want to like bang on too much today. Not forgetting you can join us tonight on the Age of Sigmar show with Nathan, Dan, and James, where we'll be talking about the Underworld, Shadespire Underworld warbands. There's some other stuff. Obviously, big commiserations to CanCon not being on. That's sad. There was all the reveals from the weekend, which was really fun. We're going to be covering those later as well. And I think that's really it for news. There's not much out. We're going to deep dive the information about the Broken Realms later, have a conversation about it, kind of crack that news open. That's super exciting. How does everyone else feel about that? Dan don't. I think I might not play Orlocks if I'm going to play any Necromunda gang. I was thinking of using the Enforcer squads, like the police guys, because they just look awesome. Hey, Colonel Cabbage, hope you are. I've had to itch to start White Scars and I heard they're a nice place at the minute. What would you specify as their current main strength in the list? So the bikes, Verbeek, are really good, but they're all good. They also can do really good things with Dreadnoughts because they can bring stuff on without it counting as moving, so they're able to do some really good stuff. So yeah, Verbeek, you can do some. The problem with Marines is it's all good. You can't go wrong with Intercessors. Can't go wrong with Assault Intercessors. The bikes are good. The tanks are good. But But if you go in White Scars, I feel like you should go down the bike route. Like, probably the normal bikers are going to come up as good as the Primaris bikers, so they're a viable option if they're still available to buy. So there's loads. And then do we say Tory Rob in the establishment law enforcement? Shocker. That's what I wanted to roleplay as. Oh, it's like fight against my own like anti-establishment self. I'm sorry if you spoke about this on Saturday, okay, Draconda, but what did you think about the Broken Realms, the new series of books in which they have new rules for all existing armies? I personally am concerned that I'll need to bring multiple books to play one army of choice efficiently. I'm really for it, Draconda. So I'll tell you why, as it goes along with. Now, I'm not saying, well, if you guys have been listening to the show for a long time, you'll have actually heard me call for and ask for this exact set of things. Now, we're in a good place with battle tomes generally. Obviously, Beasts of Chaos, Sad Face, quite old. Sylvaneth, new book, but bad, Sad Face. But so the Broken Realm stuff is definitely our Psychic Awakening or our Malign Portents, definitely alluding to the start of the next edition next year. That's definitely what's going to happen. But I like this, because what happens is a new book comes out, and if it has rules for everyone, we all get to play something new. Like, it gets to re-energize our armies, it shifts the meta around, it makes us like change stuff up. I'm all for it. I think campaign books are excellent, because if you had all of the books released, which is great, you end up with this kind of like flat, like you get this playing field where everything's kind of equal. I know it's not, so that's why I mentioned those other battle tomes before. But you get this new, exciting kind of like paradigm, and everyone's excited. Whereas if they released a new Ideneth book, let's say next week, I wouldn't be bothered at all. I wouldn't be excited. I'm not bothered. I'm not interested. Like, for me personally, I mean, I would obviously look at it for work, but I'm not like hype on Ideneth. But now when there's a book and it might affect all of my armies in different ways, I'm really excited, and so is everyone else. So we're all in the conversation together. I actually think it's a preferred way for me, and like for them to release content. I really like that, and I think it's good. It's what the Heresy did, and it was always exciting. Now, even though the Heresy had, like, they were like, this one's about Blood Angels, or this one's about White Scars, or whatever it might be, there was always something new for your faction, or there was always something new for your army, no matter which one you collected, and that was exciting, and you felt like you were part of a community, you were all in one place. So I actually think it's a really good way of doing something in the game. I'd love to know what you guys think. I'm low-key annoyed that they're making a game book for Dr. Kane. They haven't put out a Dr. Kane novel. Well, I'm sure they will, yes, Meatballs. Hey, Agents in Mark, did we meet the sound target then? Yes, we did. We crushed it. At first, I hate the idea, but then if they cover all the armies with more rules, Sylvaneth specifically, then I'm good. What I'd like is 3rd edition not to invalidate it all. Yeah, I mean, probably, if we look at the 40k system, there's no way that they're not going to do to Age of Sigmar what they've just done to 40k. So they're going to release a bunch of these books, like we've seen. Their Psychic Awakening, we're going to get the Empty Realms, and it's going to be done. What kind of release, though? At what point would you say the rules change from a product to a subscription? Well, I think all rules should be free. I think they should put the rules out free, and then the book should just be something we buy separately, like for the story. I, for one, would pay for the book separately if it didn't have the rules, and the rules all be free and then updated. I personally am really up for that. I would always pay for those books. If they took the rules out, it wouldn't stop me buying. Let's just have a frank and honest conversation. When the books come out, there's a whole bunch of people who never pay for them, but they still have all the rules available. Like they do. Like, people take photos on their phones and WhatsApp it to people. It's just an old dead medium. If you're just selling the books just for the rules, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all. So you're better off just making books that people don't buy just for the rules, which makes sense. All right, dudes. Well, I'm going to go for today. And prep for the show tonight, which is going to be really fun. So you should join us tonight at 7 p.m. BST. I want to thank everyone on Patreon and you guys who've joined us live today. Please do join me tonight. Join me again tomorrow for the 40k adjacent show and the rest of the week. And thank you to everyone on the podcast. Again, Wednesday, let's deep dive these lists. It'll be really fun. Might get a chance to interview some of the guys and see where they're at and get some feedback from them. And I just want to say thank you for just being here every day. It's awesome. Take care of yourselves. Love you tons. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.